with Daniel Reviews. I'm Daniel Goodwin, and today we're looking at the Milwaukee 12-volt Crown Stapler. Let's get into it. Milwaukee makes a complete line of 12-volt tools, and in fact probably the most complete line of 12-volt tools. These 12 volts are primarily designed to be small, flexible, lightweight, where you don't need the full power of an 18-volt application, and this is just one of the examples of that M12 lineup that they have. So I'll go over its features pretty quickly. There's not a whole lot. It works a lot like a manual stapler. You've got a spring-loaded feeder, and then your staples, of course, just slot in, and it pushes it up, presses on it, and now you're loaded. There's a pressure or driving pressure adjustment here. This, I will admit, is not easy to move, and there are so many clicks of adjustment that you can give to this. It's kind of comical. Like, why couldn't they have just gone with 1 through 5 or something? And you can click and click and click and click and turn this, but eventually, if you're, as far as pressure, you will eventually get all the way to a point where you can't turn it anymore, and it gets quite hard turning it, so it's kind of really annoying to do this. Yeah, you can see it's quite the task. But pluses, obviously, for more driving pressure, and minuses is to loosen it up. Beyond that, there is really no other features on this. There's no lights, there's no fancy music or anything like that. Well, there is a little bit of light here, as far as once you put in the battery, and you get a little indicator of course, what you've got there. But other than that, that's pretty much it. And you got a little belt hook here, and that's all the features. As far as your staple options, you can go all the way up to, I believe this is a full, I have to measure this, but I believe this is a full 1/2 inch staple. Let me see if, yes. I've got these now to confirm. These are a full 1/2 inch. I've also got a 9/16 as well. And these are the T50 staples, which is what it's gonna, fit most of your common models. You can't go much further than that, I don't believe. But it will drive these pretty well. Actually, sorry, this is the 9/16. So if you're wondering what's the difference between a 1/2 inch and 9/16, you can see just a little bit longer. Now, I will confess that when I got this stapler, I got it with the intent, or I was thinking, hey, I bet this would work great as a cable stapler. Well, spoiler alert, no, it doesn't. But Milwaukee does make a cable stapler solution. So this is just for illustration purposes only. This is, I believe, 10 gauge, just basic wire. It is insulated, but as you can see, not the real thick insulation. This is, barn wiring is the best way to describe it, I think. But I'll show you what that looks like. So for something like this, yeah, you can staple it, and it's okay. Let me just do one more. And it drives it in there pretty good. These are the 9/16 staples, which are, pretty significant depth, right? So it drove it pretty good. That works fairly well. But if you're going to try to work with something like this, which is 10 gauge insulated PV wire, it's not going to work nearly as well. It will work, but yeah, look at that. Like, the staples, these are just not cable staples. I didn't even really pull that hard on it. And if you're using ferro wire as well, it's not going to work super well. It's probably not going to be wide enough of a crown. So it's not good for that. We're going to staple this this fabric here. This is kind of just a craft fabric, but the concept's, you know, essentially the same. We'll stick that around, and oops, don't mind me, just making a mess. So we'll just so that's in there pretty good, and then if we just stretch it back, it does pretty good with this. So you know, you got a pretty decent, you know, if you're doing insulation or whatever, like this is gonna hold really well for a while. As you can see, it put it into that 2x4 pretty flush, and I think, you know, that's a good use case if you're going to be doing, you know, fabric insulation. This would be a great tool for that. If you're looking for it to do, you know, cables like I initially was, then it's not a great tool. If you're wanting to do cable, then you're going to want this bad boy. We'll do a review on this one in another video. I think that'll conclude this video. Again, it's just a quick overview of the M12 stapler by Milwaukee. It is a good stapler. It's certainly a lot easier to work than the old hand staplers, like the DeWalt. This is a pretty common one. It will definitely save your hand. Is it worth the price premium? If you're doing a lot of stapling, then yes it is. If you're like me, I don't have much of a use case. I'm not working with fabric a lot. When I want to use stapling for like cables, I'm going to probably switch over to their M12 cable stapler. So just depends, but I think it's around $119 as a bare tool. It's very good. It's very good quality. It drives the staples really well into, you know, hardwood. So I guess it's a maybe, a solid maybe. Alright, that's it for this video. I'll see you in the next one. Hope you enjoyed watching, and please, if you can, hit the subscribe button. It really helps me out. Thanks.